storm tides increase till you get to Wildwood, 10 feet, and that's why we are going to be looking at millions of dollars worth of damage. This was considered the third worst nor'easter that we had following the Great Hurricane of 1944 and that big storm in March of 1962. So it's in some pretty heady company, but certainly we could have done without making the record books on this particular situation. Let's take a look outside right now and see what we've got going on. We've got some calm weather going on. There are clouds out there. You may be seeing a lot of them this morning, but then they should be departing somewhat this afternoon with a mix of clouds and sun. But if you're to the southernmost sections of the viewing area, you're more likely to see more clouds all day long. We're also going to be expecting during the day some tidal flooding. You've got some right now down along the shore and some pretty significant tidal flooding along those back bays after the high tide that came early this morning. So a lot of the roads down there are still covered with water. Slowly, though, when the winds shift around to the north, we will be able to see some of that start to drain out a little bit. But you've got another wet situation down there this morning. For today, cloudy skies this morning, partly cloudy this afternoon. The high 42 degrees. The winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. That's a far cry from yesterday when they were gusting well over 30 miles an hour. And our highest wind peak yesterday in Philadelphia, 45 miles an hour. Now tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 30 degrees. On Saturday, rather, getting ahead of myself. Can't wait for the next work week. On Saturday, variable cloudiness, a high of 42. On Sunday, we are looking for fair skies and 35 degrees. It looks like Monday is going to be a pretty decent day as well, fair and 40 degrees. And then even on Tuesday, no change coming up. We're expecting still fair skies with temperatures increasing just a little bit. If you're going to be along the Admiral Boulevard and other areas that flood when the Delaware is above its banks, expect that again this morning. 9:34 is when the Delaware River has its high tide, and we're expecting some moderate flooding out there this morning. We'll go back to you.
All right, thank you, Carol. Picking up the pieces, if you can find them. That's the story this morning at the Jersey Shore.
Well, News 3's Robin Rieger is live in Sea Isle City once more with a story there, and it looks like dawn is breaking, Robin.
Yes, it is, and it's interesting. As the sun comes up, Pat, you wonder why it doesn't get a little bit warmer. It actually feels a little cooler down here in Sea Isle City than it did about a half an hour ago when it was dark out. In any case, Brandon is right, picking up the pieces, and there are plenty of them out here in Sea Isle City. We're at 37th Street, and I'm standing here in about an inch or two of water, but as you look down the street, it gets even deeper as you head on down to the end of Sea Isle City and Strathmere area. That is apparently where the dunes have been breached, and the ocean is actually met the bay. So that is almost inaccessible except to the National Guard, which is down here helping out in case of a medical emergency in the Strathmere area. We're just taking a look at some of the debris out here, and there's railroad ties that are bordering some of the landscaping out here that's been pulled up from the side. Another one you see right here closer to the camera that is actually bent across the thing. There's some for sale signs down. Lots of debris out here on the roadways. Now the cleanup will begin after most of this water has diminished. The high tides are gone, and we'll give you one shot leaving. We'll just turn around and you can see that dumpster right out in the middle of the street. Don't know where it came from, but that is there. So when cleanup starts, at least they'll have somewhere to put all of this debris. That's a story live from Sea Isle City. I'm Robin Rieger. We'll go back to you in the studio.
Rob, thanks very much. Well, schools in parts of Atlantic County and many in Cape May County were shut down yesterday and this morning. We have confirmed that Atlantic City schools are open. So far, we know that Ocean City schools are closed, as are those in Sea Isle, as you can see, because of the road problems. But we're still waiting for decisions by other school districts in that region. News 3 is checking the situation. We'll bring you the latest as soon as we know the information. Well, the resort town of Atlantic City is no stranger to taking a gamble.
Yeah, but when it comes to preserving their beaches, officials have worked to replenish them as much as possible. News 3's Dick Sheeran live there this morning. Any word on the beaches, Dick?
Actually, here in Atlantic City, the beaches fared fairly well compared to the down beach communities. They do have those geotubes, and they have helped here. There is some erosion, of course, but not like the other beaches. As a matter of fact, right now, it's really shaping up to be a beautiful morning here in Atlantic City. The birds out there are taking an early morning meeting. I guess it's a power breakfast. As far as the other conditions here are concerned, we only have one problem as far as the roads are concerned. The Black Horse Pike is still closed in and out of Atlantic City, but you can get in and out on the expressway. There is some minor flooding in the Back Bay areas. In fact, we checked that out just a short time ago, and we rolled some tape on it. Let's take a look. Getting around the Back Bay areas of Atlantic City wasn't for the faint-hearted. Whether you were on foot or driving a car or truck, You encountered 2 feet of water in some places. Captain Ray Farrell, the watch commander of the Atlantic City Police overnight, he gave us this assessment.
Not as bad as last night. It's kind of unexpected that the water did come up a little higher than we thought it would tonight.
And what are those areas? Chelsea Heights?
Chelsea Heights, the low-lying areas. Chelsea Heights and the inlet area.
And we're back live on the beach here in Atlantic City. High tide was 3:14, as you can see. It's very well receded. Take a look at the boardwalk here. No problem here in the main part of Atlantic City. I just talked to a boardwalk crew headed down toward the inlet section. They are going to repair a small section of the boardwalk around Connecticut Avenue. That's well around the bend, if you're familiar with Atlantic City, not in front of the casinos, but around in the inlet area. They say a small section of the boardwalk was damaged. So when you look at this from a long perspective, Atlantic City fared very well. And as you reported earlier, the schools are open, so things are really getting back to normal here. That's it live from Atlantic City. We'll go back to you.
Good to hear. Thank you, Dick. The cleanup is underway in Delaware, which had its coast hit pretty hard by this nor'easter. The Skycam 3 went airborne yesterday over Lewis, Delaware. It was pelted by rain and battered by wind. You can see the flooded streets, entire neighborhoods, some of them underwater. Over Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, you can see where big chunks of earth, asphalt, and concrete collapsed under the relentless pounding of the wind-driven waves, endangering buildings and boardwalk alike. And on Rehoboth's boardwalk, it is easy to spot where parts of it were damaged. A glance into the churning ocean shows the splintered remains of parts of the popular walkway. No official estimate of damage in Delaware yet.
Well, News 3 continues to follow the aftermath and the cleanup stemming from the nor'easter yesterday. You can hear the latest and see the pictures right here on News 3. And if you are in your car or at work, you can listen to KYW News Radio 1060.
Well, a mysterious death in Cumberland County has police searching for answers this morning. Sources tell News 3 a man was found dead in his Millville home at 7th and Main last night. On entering the home, police found what they described as an arsenal of weapons, including automatic weapons and hand grenades. An autopsy is scheduled for later today.
On the national scene this morning, the top story, critical new details reported about the White House intern scandal. Here's Jane Robelo.
This morning, there are new reports that President Clinton tried to cover up aspects of his relationship with Monica Lewinsky. This after Mr. Clinton yesterday again denied allegations of an affair and cover-up. Bill Plant joins us this morning from the White House with the details. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Jane. There's a report this morning in the New York Times that Mr. Clinton, the day after he testified last month in the Paula Jones case, tried to get his personal secretary, Betty Curry, to agree that he and Monica Lewinsky had never been alone together in the White House, and that he had resisted Monica Lewinsky's sexual advances. The Times story says Mrs. Curry recalled that the president had characterized his relationship with Ms. Lewinsky by asking a series of leading questions, such as, "We were never alone, right?" But the newspaper report says that Betty Curry wound up telling investigators for Kenneth Starr's independent counsel office that Clinton and Lewinsky had, in fact, been alone together at times. A White House spokesman asked about this last night, said this is just another in a series of false leaks, and we are not going to dignify this with a response. But Mr. Clinton is likely to have to respond when he is at a news conference later this morning. Jane?
Bill Plant at the White House, thank you. Monica Lewinsky's attorney, William Ginsburg, said he has a written deal with Kenneth Starr that grants Lewinsky immunity in exchange for her testimony. But Starr says he will not grant Lewinsky immunity until his office has a face-to-face meeting with her. Ginsburg says Starr can meet with Lewinsky at any time. Jane Robelo, CBS News.
And when we return on News 3 this morning, find out the connection between El Nino and the Franklin Institute.
Plus, jail or bail for accused murderer Thomas Capano. The answer could come today. That's just ahead on News 3 this morning, where weather comes first.
Oh, these old windows. I should put some money in the house. Oh, I can manage. I see there's a plan called house money. Your house gives you money. Maybe someday. House money gives you cash in the bank as you need it, or a check in the mail every month. It's a reverse mortgage. Not a penny to repay as long as you live in the house, and you still own your house. Well, there must be strings. You have to be 65 years old, I am, and own a house worth over $75,000. I do. Just by calling 1-800-262-1205. I got information and answers. My husband said the house would take care of me.
WKXL, New Jersey, WBSS, Millville, Atlantic City.
Around the clock, around the state, from the cities to the shore. This is News Jersey.
Your tax dollars, even more, being pumped into that pension fund. I'll have that story and more in a minute. Alan Casper's commuter weather, passing clouds and sunshine across the state. Some highs 40 to 45. I'm Mary Jo Powell with News Jersey at 7:30. Sponsored by Levinson, Axelrod, Wheaton, Grazel, Caulfield, Marcolis, and Dunn, the personal injury lawyers.
Store-wide savings.
And you don't pay a dime till summertime.
It's Value City Furniture's no-pay President's Day sale.
Through President's Day only at Value City Furniture.
We're out to make savings history.
With values that defy comparison.
On furniture for every room.
Plus,
buy with no money down.
No interest.
And no payments till August.
It'll make you smile.
Savings store-wide.
Plus, you don't pay a dime till summertime.
During the no-pay President's Day sale.
At Value City Furniture.
It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from in the Army National Guard. If you want to serve your country, if you can spend 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks a year of intense training to be ready when your community needs you, then call 1-800-GO-GUARD and become part of a team that will help you achieve everything you can.
In the Army National Guard, you can.
It's 7:31 at News Jersey. Were you duped? A good chunk of the state budget is now going to have to fund Jersey's pension fund. Even after that massive borrowing plan that was supposed to close the gap and save you tax money, the state now admits we're still going to have to pay another $400 million. We're in the hole. Assembly Minority Leader Joe Doria says, "I told you so."
At that time, we warned that these changes to the various assumptions would impact negatively in the future. And then chickens are coming home to roost.
For his part, State Treasurer James D'Alaturio says the borrowing plan actually saved you money in terms of the contribution.
The normal contribution, had we not done the pension security proposal, would have been $218 million higher than we've already programmed into the budget.
Well, you'll hear what the governor has to say about the controversy Tuesday when she delivers her budget address. Things are returning to normal for the first time in a number of days in South Jersey. That nor'easter seems to have subsided. A shore power company tells News Jersey they're on the case, and if you were without power last night, your lights are probably back on now. Betty Kennedy of Atlantic Energy says,
"We've had a total of about 9,800 customers out of service."
Kennedy blames the usual: tree limbs falling down on the wires and some strong wind gusts for pulling the plug on customers. News Jersey time, 7:33. Now, New Jersey 101.5 fast traffic.
Well, the plot thickens. We've had Route 1 and 9 closed most of the morning near the Holland Tunnel because of a police investigation. What does this do to traffic? It just snarls the entire vicinity of Jersey City and Newark. Route 1 and 9, Pulaski Skyway, Truck Route 1 and 9, they are all severely affected by this, trying to get to the Holland Tunnel. Many of us use that road. The only approach to the Holland Tunnel available is the New Jersey Turnpike, Newark Bay Extension. You got to pay the toll, and you're going to sit for about at least 15 to 20 minutes, and it's not getting any better. Many people have just said phooey with the Holland Tunnel. They're going with the Lincoln. That's got about a 15 to 20 minute delay. GW Bridge is best bet, but you want to stay off the Jersey Turnpike Eastern Spur. That is a mess because of the delays at 15E. Everybody's trying to get off. Keep it going north. If you can go with the Western Spur, that's the best way to get north up towards the Meadowlands. Now, if you're on the Parkway, no major problems at this hour coming out of Raritan up towards Union. Some sun glare building delays on 287 if you're going southbound through the Route 28 area at Franklin Township. Sun glare delays, and if that's backing up now, you can imagine what it's going to be like in an hour. On Route 1 and 9 in Linden, an accident southbound in the vicinity of Linden Airport causing big delays. Turnpike is better southbound. And along the coastline, Monmouth and Ocean County roads, no reports of any sort of any major flooding at this hour. Again, mass transit is on time. I'm Bob Williams, New Jersey Traffic North.
I'm Jill Meyer, New Jersey Traffic South. Route 1 North, it's busy stuff from Lawrence up through to West Windsor. 29 is heavy going into South Trenton. Also, we have delays at 42 northbound, at 544 through to 55. Now, at the Ben Franklin and the Walt Whitman bridges, slow at the toll plazas, Philly bound. Now, here's your leftover flooding problems around the shore areas. 147 is still flooded out in North Wildwood, but happiest of days, we have Route 47 open in Wildwood. Yes, it's dried up. 9 is a little flooded out near the
White Horse Pike and Absecon, and Black Horse Pike still has some sections that are flooded. Oh, so is exit 2 of the Atlantic City Expressway. That's all flooded. And this New Jersey fast traffic is sponsored by pork. It's the other white meat. It's quick, it's easy, it's pork, and it's on your way home. Pick up some for dinner tonight. You can grill it, saute it, pork, the other white meat. New Jersey fast traffic every 15 minutes around the clock. Next report at 7:48 on New Jersey 101, New Jersey 101.5.
New Jersey 101.5 news time, 7:35. Your town and mine will not be getting a low-level radioactive waste dump after all. John Weingart, executive director of the board that's been looking for a site in Jersey for the past 9 years, says
there's at least one and maybe two places out of state where people who generate low-level radioactive waste can send their material.
He says they've eased up the rules for sending the stuff out of state, and frankly, he couldn't get any town to accept such a site anyway. The New York Times reports President Clinton's secretary would not lie for him before a grand jury. Betty Curry's quoted as saying her boss asked her to say that he and Monica Lewinsky were never alone together. She says they were. And she says the president did buy Monica gifts. New Jersey 101.5 news time, 7:36. The complete Alan Casper, New Jersey forecast, and George Tabor's business report next.
CN8, the Comcast network. We're connected to your world. Talk you're really interested in.
You and your teachers are dealing with students more one-on-one. What would the law be if you could do it?
Games your own kids are really playing.
And Jenkins is in. Touchdown, Mayfield.
So good, Josh Moore flat-footed, tips it to himself and scores. And maybe a cracked egg or two. Hey. Connected to your world. CN8, the Comcast network.
Don't get stuck in traffic. Tune to New Jersey 101.5 FM radio. Traffic reports every 15 minutes around the clock. New Jersey 101.5 FM radio. What's the weather? Find out fast. Tune to New Jersey 101.5 FM radio. Weather every 10 minutes, every hour, every day. New Jersey 101.5 FM radio.
New Jersey 101.5 news time, 7:38 with the New Jersey Business Report.
Investing in small companies takes a lot of patience. Their fortunes can swing much wider than those of a bigger company, and that can sometimes drive investors crazy. Take, for example, Morristown's Dendrite International. The company makes computer software for the sales forces of pharmaceutical companies. In 1996, the company had a very bad fourth quarter. Its stock, which had gone over $30 a share, was clobbered. It sunk to about $6 a share. Over the past 12 months, the stock has steadily but slowly climbed back to about $24 a share. Dendrite just announced its results for last year's fourth quarter, and they were very good. Net income was $2.6 million as compared with last year's loss of $3.3 million. The stock then jumped more than $2 a share. Not every company, of course, comes back from a bad quarter like that, but wise investors keep their cool in bad times. From the offices of Business News, New Jersey, this is George Tabor on New Jersey 101.5.
And the New Jersey Business Report was brought to you by News 12 New Jersey, now seen in more than 1 million homes statewide on Cablevision, Adelphia, TCI, TKR, and Time Warner Cable. Check your cable channel listings. New Jersey 101.5 news time, 7:39. New Jersey 101.5 instant weather.
Clouds are beginning to break up with some wonderfully pleasant blue skies across New Jersey, and that's great news. Still cloudy in many locations, but the sun's going to come back. as we promised you yesterday, 40 to 45 this afternoon with not much wind inland, a bit of a breeze along the shore. Some clear skies tonight, 20 to 32. Nothing more than a mix of...